Hey, Chanel here from Future Fashion Designers. I have a new skirt design I'm working on. It's called the Chanel number 2. And it's a new version of the Chanel number 1. It's a spliced A-line skirt. And it looks like this. A little different lines. New version. I'll show you how I'm gonna make it coming up. Hi, Chanel here, bringing you weekly videos to help you get better and better at your fashion sewing and be more creative too. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I have another skirt idea. It's kind of a version of one of my other skirts. I had in another video, I had my spliced skirts like these. Same front and back, where I put a flat piping in between the two seams. And then I had this one too. I love the black, the brown, and the white. And then I put a flat piping between each layer on both sides. So that's called my Chanel skirt, spliced version. And I just had it redrafted into the Chanel number 2. And it looks like this. So it's not as far down. The splice is a little bit closer together up here, a little thinner. And then I did a muslin of it right here, like that. So I thought, this one's probably pretty easy. I wanted to do, it's about the same as that, I think. Same amount of work. I have this fabric. It's a black wool crepe. That I've had forever, and I thought I would make it out of that and make it like a fall skirt out of wool, and then wear it with my boots. That'd be cute. And then I'm going to put this. I have just one fat quarter of this fabric here. It's probably making the camera busy. So I got to get piping out of here. I think I could do it because you can actually you can piece it all together pretty well. And then I've got this beautiful Sapima fabric. I want to do a flat piping on that and then do a 2-layered piping. Similar to this one right here. Actually, it's just a 1-layer piping, but it looks like a 2-layer piping. So that's my new skirt idea. Another version of the other one. And I can make this pattern available for you. It's called the Chanel number 2. And I have to see how it turns out first. So I'm going to start cutting it out. All right, I have my pattern pieces all laid out. I just have two. I have my fabric folded right sides together. There's no nap on here. I just have it folded and matched up the selvages here. And got it as straight as I could do it because wow, I can't believe I just had this little piece of fabric. This must be, I think I need, it's looking like about 2 yards of fabric right here, because it's just basically 3 pieces. There's also this waist facing, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use my fold over elastic. So I have this all on grain. Got the grain lines here, very important. And I put in my anchor pins to lock those down. This looks a little bubbly. I have to make sure it's not in there, or it's not bubbling up. Got a few weights on here. I'm just going to start cutting this out. Okay, and got these all cut out. Now it's really important to get the notches on whenever you got splicing. And in this pattern, I'm just gonna, this is only a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so I'm just gonna go a little tiny clip right here on my notches. This one's right there. This one's hard to see on here, so I circled them, counted it in. And then we got a notch over here with the zipper. And then I also like those notches in the center front, but I'm going to put a V notch right there, like that, because I like to know where that center front is. All right, I'm going to clip all my notches. Then we're going to cut out the piping. All right, got all my biases marked. Probably can't see them. And I just got to cut all these strips. It's a lot of cutting, a lot of marking. Very carefully, you want to get all these strips. So I'll be bias strips here, smaller ones for the piping one. And I have this blue one all here. And I have to cut all these. So my lighter blue one is 2 inches wide, and my print one is 1.5 inches wide. So I want them to measure differently. Oh, sometimes these longer shears help, but whew, this is going to take a while. All right, I'll check in with you when I get all these cut out. Okay, coming into the home stretch. Just 2 more to cut. I had to switch shears. I bought these new Ginger shears right here. I'm trying to get used to them. They're very sharp, which is great, but they're really tight. I wonder if I should loosen them up. But these are my old ones, and I just really know how to cut really well with them. You're probably wondering why I'm not using a rotary cutter. And it's because I'm really bad at it. And you have to, just probably would be easy as long as you're good at it, because then you gotta really get it right there on the line. You see, even kind of chop that off, but that's not gonna make a big difference. So this is gonna be folded in half right here. Now I have to connect these, like the edges like that. So I'll be stitching all of these together. And what are you gonna do? All right, I'm gonna start pinning these together. Then I think I'm gonna take a break, because that was a lot. My hands hurt. Well, I'm back to finish my piping. That was a lot of cutting. Had to take a break. I've got them all cut apart. And then the blue one I sewed together, because I can't wait to see how that all goes together. So these are all sewn together, and I pressed them open. And this one I still have to sew. So I have my pins, I have them all pinned like that, and I like to just go through them and do them all at the same time. Then I press them open. Wanted to show you real quick how these look when you're sewing them. So I have this one pinned, and I'm just going to sew a 1/4 inch seam right there. And these little tabs are normal, because when you sew a 1/4 inch and you fold it this way, they blend like that. Probably can't see it so much in this one, but when you look at these, it's almost blending there. And then I'll trim that off. Some of your biases, you don't want them to stretch, but they'll look like that. And now my next chore is to fold this piping in half like that, and just give it a press, because I want that to be a flat piping. And then this one I'm going to be putting in my cording. I cut the cording in half, or I took off 2 layers, and now I'm just going to be putting it in half here, folding it, stitching it down, and it's going to become a piping. So I'm going to get on to finishing this up. Okay, now we're on to pressing the bias strips. We're going to press these open and then match up the raw edges on the bias. Get a little crease in there. Kind of really try to get these edges matched up right here. Like that. The whole strips is great. Then I cut this piping the length of the, because there's 4 splices that go in that skirt, and then I put tape on the end, because this one's just coming apart, because I took a wider piping and cut it in half. So then I put the piping in the fold there and pin it closely here, and then I got to go and stitch the piping inside there. I'm going to just do a basting stitch and close it in there and try to get it in there as tight as I can right there. Then this one remains flat, because what I'm going to do is be sewing these 2 together And then actually this is the part that will be sticking out of my seam right there. So like a rounded edge and then a flat edge. So now I'm gonna go put the piping in and get these to the machine. All right, sewing my piping in, getting my cording prepped. I've got 4 of these strips to do. I'm glad I cut them in 4s because this is a lot of basting stitches to do here. I'm trying to get these in here tight. It's kind of difficult. Alright. I'll continue on with these. I got 4 more to do. Alright, got all my pipings done. Those look great. And then my other pieces here, and then what I'm going to do now is sew these 2 together at those raw edges, just baste them together so that it stays put when I sandwich them between the 2 layers. So I got them all pinned right here, so I have 4 of them. I also have 2 shorter ones that will go on the top of the skirt, and then 2 long, they're just a little bit longer, they'll go on the bottom of the skirt. So I got to make sure that I keep those together. So and I have just 4 pieces, which makes this much easier to sew instead of like 4 yards of this all together. That would be crazy. So I'm going to go and sew these together. Just do a quick baste. Holds it in place. If you didn't do this, it would be a nightmare. It would be really hard to get all the layers together. You might even have to baste this to the skirt piece also. Do this to all 4 pieces. All right. Don't need to even back stitch that. All right, so now I have my 2 connected, and then this will get put into the seam, and that's how that will look right there. It's gonna look good. Okay, got my pipings basted onto my skirt pieces. This is the bottom part. Wow, it looks kind of big from here. And then I have the other bias pieces onto the spliced part because I want these pipings to go down and then the seam allowances go up. So it'll be just run a lot smoother that way. So then I have to baste these on to the front of the skirt and then also to the back. So I've got 4 pieces. A lot of basting stitches throughout this. A lot of stitches. It's never going to come apart. All right, I'm going to go stitch this. Well, I got these all sewn together. All my bias pieces all put on there. I stay stitched these edges. And now I just have to connect them all. A lot of stitches going through here. I'm a little tired. This was a little exhausting. So I think I'm going to take a break and come back tomorrow, put this together, and it will resemble a skirt. I'm excited. All right, back for another day of sewing, rested up. Yesterday was a little, I don't know, it's a lot of piping and cutting for me. I was tired. Have all the pieces ready. I'm gonna lay them out on the table to get my bearings on that, how they will look, and then I'll put them all right sides together and really match the notches. I have those little clips in here because you really want to, because this is a funny shape, really make them fit in the right spots. All right, I'll show you how it looks on the table, and then we'll get started building and making it into a skirt today. All right, I have my skirt pieces laid out on the cutting board. And now I just gotta put them right sides together and sew them together, matching up the notches. All right, got my pieces lined up. Just have to match up the notches and sew it 1/2 inch, hugging the piping. I actually had to mark the notches with chalk because I could not find these little clips in the black. They just hide. I know I have one under here. There it is. Right here. And the stay stitching on this really puckered the fabric up, so I almost kind of have to stretch it a little bit. There it goes. I'm just going to pin this real carefully, matching up all my edges here, and then go and sew this 1/2 inch, and then I can really see what this is going to look like. I have to stretch some of this. Oof, there's another notch I missed. The notches on this pattern are so important. And my stay stitch really puckered that up, but it's better too small than too big. All right, I'm gonna go sew this. It should look like that when it's done. Okay, be right back. All right, got these all stitched together. Now I just have to press the seams up. Got a little pucker I gotta fix there, but I'll press the seam up first. And then I can start putting this skirt together. It'll start looking like a skirt. So I like to press the seams up. Well, actually that's how it's designed. It would actually drape really funny if it went down. All right, press these. I have all my seams pressed up to the top. All right, starting to look like a real skirt. This looks really pretty. I love it. Definitely needs a lining. It needs some more body because this fabric is, you know, all these layers here. It's taken over. And gotta trim these pieces off right here. Make it more flush. It'll be a little easier to sew. I'm just gonna chop this off right here. I always go a little over because sometimes if you just have it just a hair past, you messes everything up. So trim all those off. And now I'm going to put in my zipper, and I've got it marked 1/2 inch. These seam allowances are 1/2 inch on this this pattern. And visible zipper, I just really only need 1/2 inch, so that's good. If I was doing a lap zipper, I probably should have had to put an extension on this, and a little bit easier because you need 1 inch to do a really nice lap zipper. So I'm going to put the zipper in. If you're making one of these skirts, check out my YouTube channel, Future Fashion Designers. There is a sew bit on invisible zippers, and because black, showing you invisible zipper on black, nearly impossible to see it. So, all right, I'll go put the zipper in, and I should have a skirt after that. Well, then I got to sew the side seams together. Be right back. All right, got the zipper in. Went in pretty well. I'd say it was a 95 out of 100. Had a little problem right here. Now I have to line up the side seams right here. So the trick is to get these matched up. All of this right here. So I'm just going to do that first one so that they're coming together pretty well, but sometimes when you get into the iron, or when you start sewing it, it changes its mind. All right, I'm gonna go sew this, and then I'll look at it, press that open, and then do the other side. Be right back. Got my side seams stitched, although they didn't come out perfect. This one's hair off. I might leave that there. I think just the pipings wanted to have a little trouble. And I'm going to have to fix those blues really need to match up. Then from that, the results from that one, this really didn't match up right here. So I have to just take out that little chunk and try to stretch it, maybe hand baste it to make it fit. So, because it's just, when I went over this, there was just a lot of chunky fabric right here. It was kind of hard to get it over. So maybe I need to baste that way. But I am going to do this other side seam because now it's hard to get control of this. Right here, now I think I'll baste that knowing the problem I had with that because that's a lot of stuff here. Actually, what I might do is take out some of this white piping. That might thin it out a little bit. I'll just cut out some of that, and then that side seam will go together much easier. Yeah, I think that's going to be the ticket. Haha. See? With every little mistake, something comes out of it. Another piece of knowledge. All right. So I'm going to sew the side seam together, and then I'll be able to try this on, see if it fits. Okay? Got the side seam sewn. Didn't come out exactly. Can't believe it. I even basted it. I took out these little things. I guess I need to do more. I basted it really securely. And look how far off it is. But I went ahead and tried it on. It fits to a T. Can't believe it. I could lose a few pounds. I might have to wear some Spanx. Make it a little more slippery. But now I have to fix these. I'm gonna have to, I don't know, I might have to just really, might have to hand stitch that part in. I don't know. I took out some of that. I think I'll take out more and get it in there. And then I gotta fix my other side seams. These are a little bit easier on that. But I need to take all that piping out of there too, get it a little flatter. So maybe in hindsight I should have just did these flat, but I kind of like it three-dimensional like that. Is that three-dimensional? I don't know. All right, I'm going to cut out the lining now and sew the lining together, and I'm going to do this tomorrow when it's not so frustrating. Sometimes you just have to take a break. All right, well, I'm back for another day, and I fixed my little problems. Got my side seams all matched up pretty good. This one's not perfect, but I must move on. And my other side seams, this looks great. This one's perfect, it's good. And this one, not so great, but it's gonna get hidden into the hem. So it's actually gonna be perfect spot. The hem's gonna be right there. So that's how the skirt looks. I love it. It's actually really, I'm really liking this blue stuff. Turned out really cool. It's a nice skirt, long and lean design lines in there. It fools the eye. Makes you look long and lean. And I always wear black on the top, so what are you gonna do? Got my lining prepared. So just real two front and backs, one front, one back. Side seams, gotta press those open. And then I'm gonna put them inside the skirt, wrong sides together. And then I have leftover bias right here that I'm just gonna prepare and turn it into the waist facing. Instead of doing a facing or anything, I'm just gonna actually make a bias facing so that this will all be in the inside, and it's soft so it'll feel good and be a little pop of color. All right, gonna get on to that. All right, got my lining all pinned into my skirt. Got this pinned into the zipper. I got a hand stitch this part here. It takes about 5 minutes. And then I have my bias tape pressed and ready to stitch on. So I'm just gonna go and stitch 3/8 all the way around the waist. And then I have to do some pressing and understitching and roll it inside, and then that's done. A really great, easy way to finish off a waist. All right, got this stitched on and pressed over. Got the seam pressed here. I just got to understitch it and roll it to the inside. It's just going to be a beautiful facing right here, and soft and comfortable, because that's the part that will be on my skin, this part, and then the lining. And then just have to put a little piece of Velcro. I'm going to cover the zipper up right here. Put a little piece of Velcro right there so that when it's on, that covers that and it's not sitting on my skin. I hate that. So this is coming out very nicely. I'm going to go and understitch this now. All right, I just got this finished stitching. I understitched it, which is just a top stitch on top of the facing that anchors in all of that seam so that this rolls under and stays under there. Then I stitched in the ditch. This is my side seam, so I put a little stitch right into that ditch there. You can see it on this side. That will keep that down. And then here, I'm gonna have to hand stitch the lining down there, and then I'll catch the facing there, and then that will cover my tab. I got a little piece of Velcro that I put here. I have those Velcros that are real clear and soft, and I just put one here, and they're actually got a sticky back, but they'll never stay, so you got to kind of stitch it down, and that will cover this little zipper tab that drives me crazy. And that is my waist facing. I gotta go press this now. Got this all nice and pressed. Looks great here. It's staying on the inside. And I'm hand sewing the lining to the zipper, which is actually really important because otherwise the lining would shift around in the inside, and you don't want that. So you just really just take a little bit of the zipper tape right there and attach it to the lining. You can do fairly big strokes. It doesn't have to be real tight there. Just get it anchored in there, and then oops, and it gets caught on all the pins. And then just get it stitched there. Now, what am I going to do with this side right here? This is the little Velcro I have. It's one of the clear ones. It's real small. I left it at home actually, so I'll have to do that later. But this, I think I just have to finish this up here, and this can kind of stay free here. Yeah, because that's just going to go there, and this looser that is, it'll be soft, and you won't see it pop in the inside. All right, so I tie this off. That, bring my needle through, and then this is all done right here. So my waist is done. Just got to get the Velcro. Looks good. When I put it on, this will stay in. If it doesn't, I can do a little tack right there. If it really bugs me, I can top stitch it here, but I like the flat look right there, and then sometimes a top stitch makes it a little kind of poke out a little bit. All right, now I got to hem this, and I think I want to hem it so it's pretty long actually. I'm going to hem it where it comes right there, because there's my little boo-boo there. I'm going to just hem it right there and nobody will know. All right, got my hem ready to go. Let's have it pinned up. I did a overlock. It's ended up about 1.5 inches there, and then I rolled this 50-50 as I call it there, and just did a nice top stitch hem for the lining there. And just got to hand stitch this now, and I got to try it on. All right, the skirt is done and ready to wear. So I love it. It turned out, it's so much fun. My dress form is very squeaky. I love this. I'm going to wear it with black boots, I think. And just a simple black t-shirt. It's a lot of black. I don't know. I might do a black t-shirt with a white part hanging over. If I have light blue, that would be even better. But I don't have any light blue. I'm just going to have to find it. Or I could dye one of my white tank tops that I'm not wearing anymore, because I have a lot of those. And that'd be pretty to do like a black layer and then a blue layer of shirt right here, so it breaks up the black. It's not, so depressing. Anyway, I think I love this line. I think it creates such a great illusion. I love putting piping into splices and all, and putting different color jazzes to it. And I'm going to add this to my unique boutique. And If you have anything creative that you've done, I'd love to hear about it. Leave me a comment below. Tell me what you're working on, and if you can post a picture, great. Also check out Queen of Skirts Facebook page and post some pictures there on some projects you're working on. And I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe.